we've got Craig Edwards. Craig, you watch a big smile on my face now because golf is the biggest passion in my life. When I was a professional footballer and I retired, I wanted to become a professional caddy. So I went and done the ropes and obviously didn't get on the right bag. But Craig, major time. Bethpage Black. Does it get any better than this?
Well, it's great to have a major 4 weeks after the Masters. Suddenly they've changed the schedule, and no, it doesn't. Tiger Woods going here straight from winning the Masters. It doesn't get any better than this. Going to a place he won the US Open. If he's going to have an Indian summer, it's going to be now. It'll be now or never, because obviously his body's struggling with the back injury and the strain it puts on it. But I've got an odd feeling that if he's at the top of the leaderboard come Sunday afternoon, I've got a feeling the rest could fall in a heap. And you know, the way he won the Masters against the two modern-day winners, Brooks Koepka and Francesco Molinari. I don't include Rory and Dustin in that. They were the guys winning the tournaments last year, and they were the guys at the peak of their mental powers, and suddenly they fell in a heap at the Masters. And so if suddenly Tiger Woods gets top of the leaderboard, that myth, he could just string that myth out a little bit further and perhaps sneak another major quickly.
Well, Tiger Woods one of my all-time heroes, obviously, and I have a son who's obviously been on a scholarship for golf in America. His hero, Tiger Woods, inspired a complete generation. He's almost set the tone for all these golfers coming through. But let's leave the golfers apart for a minute, and we'll go to that. But set the scene of Bethpage Black, 7,500 yards. Rough.
Yeah. And
it's like only got one par 3 under 200 yards. Take it away, Craig.
Well, in 2002, when they first used it here, some of the professionals couldn't get to the fairway. They couldn't reach the fairway at the 10th, and they were complaining. So you've got a situation where your players must have length off the tee. There is not going to be a hiding place for them, and especially this week, because apparently in New York, there's been quite a wet weather front, and so the ground's not dry. It's not going to be running far. Yeah, they are going to have a monster on their hands this week. It's going to be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how difficult the US PGA set the course up. I mean, they may get it. They may tinker with it as the tournament progresses, because obviously they like to have a lower winning score than, for argument's sake, the US Open will in a few weeks. So if it's a US Open course, it would be tricked up significantly more, I would guess. But it looks a beast to me. It looks like you want players that can hit the ball far off the tee and pretty accurately as well. I mean, you know, not a lot of run. I mean, Tiger's perfect, obviously. I mean, that's in his remit. And then they've got Brooks Koepka. Francesco may struggle a bit now. You'd think Rory and Dustin, they must be high on the list, because they've got the effortless power. They're going to be able to get it round, not be so fatigued. The other thing is this week, it's the walk, it's undulating. So on the wet weather, you've got a situation where it's a 9-mile walk. Some of the professionals are going to be tired by the time they've played 18 holes. So the lads that are the effortless power lads are going to take less out of themselves. So I'm concentrating on them. I do think there's a couple down the markets that are quite interesting. I think the Dane, Lucas Bregard, who played well at the Masters, he only finished about 21st, but most of the week he was in the top 10. And I put him up at the time for top European. He just managed to squeak some place money. But he's been playing quite well in America, a bit erratically, but he did beat Tiger Woods in the World Match Play that in the quarterfinals. That must give him some kind of confidence. You know yourself, a professional sportsman, you need to prove to yourself that you can do it at the biggest level. So that's a help. He's a big price. I mean, I put him up in top European again in the market, but some of the bookmakers are betting 10 places. You could easily have each way at 175 to 1. And And there's no one longer off the tee in Europe than Lucas Bjerregaard. So, he should fit this course, even though he's never played it before.
It's fair to say, isn't it, that this course, if you've got form around there, it's a massive, massive advantage. And I'm trying to be clever, and I'm looking, and there's a couple of ones. First of all, Lucas Glover, former winner. He's had 11 top 20s this season.
Yeah.
I think he's 4.6 to finish in the top 20. And if I'm not wrong, he's course record holder.
Yeah, and I think I put him up in my write-up. I didn't tip him in Top American because in Top American he felt a little bit short to me, but he looks to have a solid chance. If you were, like you say, betting the place markets, Flash, he's a perfect candidate. He's been so consistent. Since winning the US Open, he then won the Wells Fargo, and he's been in a bit of a slump since. He's been really erratic. The odd high-level performance, but usually quite poor. But like you say, these last few months, the level of consistency he's found and the ease with which he's playing these 4-round tournaments and not taking anything out of himself, I won't be surprised if he's actually at the top of the leaderboard Sunday, but he's definitely a good bet to be in the top 20.
He's 111. Definitely. He's 111 on the outrights, and the majority of bookies are actually going first 10. That's whenever a bookie's going first 10, that tells you. And this has always been the major where it does throw a little bit of a curveball in, but you've got to bring back. You've got to bring back. We're at Bethpage Black here, and I've seen Matthew Fitzpatrick has sent a few tweets out, pictures. The rough is up. And with the rain they've had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I say the rough is up, but the rough will lay down. In whenever the ball will get under it, and you'll be getting flyers, they'll be chunky. I mean, I think there's going to be plenty good value. And the other one I was going to throw at you was Martin Keimer, former, obviously, US Open winner, and he shot a 66 on the last day of the British Masters. And I went round Wentworth with Martin Keimer a few years ago, and he always said to me, bet me when the course is at its toughest. So it's just another one of those that's got the game.
Well, he is. And, I mean, you'll remember, Flash, that he won the Players' Championship. He won the PGA Championship before that. And then he won the US Open, didn't he, straight after the Players?
Yeah.
And he was a proper closer. If he got in the van, he was finishing the job every single time. And then he went to Abu Dhabi. I think he led by 8 shots with 10 holes to play and got pipped on the line. Right. Now, you'll know yourself from professional sport, when that happens, it really rocks the foundations of your mind and who you are. He's never actually recovered when he's been in contention since. The guy has a lot of class, and you would expect that at some point or other, he's going to get back and he's going to get over it. I mean, he's got the German mentality like Bernhard Langer. I noticed how his good last round last week, and he's one of them people now that he could come out of nowhere, hit the lead, and he'd win, because I think really that was a freak circumstance when he lost that lead, but it definitely rocked him. It's taken the wind out of his sails for a few years now. I think it's probably 3 years ago. But he is a class player, and a course like this that puts a premium on accuracy, it's going to wear you out you need that little bit of extra class sometimes to win these tournaments, and wouldn't surprise me. It's a good one actually. From there'll be quite a bit of value in Martin Keimer when he hits the front again, because he'll probably get the job done.
Yeah, I mean, I always think that it's a bit of a hangover for he tried to change his swing. He's always been a fader of the ball, and he tried to bring in a draw just for Augusta, because everyone knows that although I'm English and the Open is the Open, everyone wants to win at Augusta. Everyone wants to put that green jacket on, and he tried to change, and I think that put him back. Now, I watched obviously the PGA last week, Craig, and Brooks Koepka. He's had 3 majors in a handful of them, and he looks so balanced. Surely this course is just tailor-made for him.
I think it is. I think it must be tailor-made for Brooks. I think the only thing against him, for whatever reason, his strike rate was so high last year, winning, that perhaps now it's just evening out that he's been in the van quite a bit this last year and he hasn't won. I wouldn't fancy him to win toe-to-toe with Tiger Woods. I mean, he has been impressive the way he's won. Make no mistake, so I'm not being critical in any way, shape or form of him. But he has quite a close relationship with Tiger Woods. And my feeling is he may have a little bit of hero worship going on. So if they get toe-to-toe, that may not help him. But Brooks Koepka, he is a winner. And his return compared to Dustin Johnson is, you're going to put him above Dustin Johnson in your own mind when you're looking for the winner. Although obviously Dustin Johnson is a high level player. I mean, my God, he hits the ball miles and he's perfect as well. Just a similar sort of player. But Brooks Koepka, you would think he can't be out of the top 10, can he?
No, not for me. And I look at these and I try to, before I pick which players I'd want to be with, I pick the players I don't want to be with. And I don't want to be with Rory because Rory, I think it's a monkey on his back. He just feels like the pressure. I must. And then even though it's Thursday afternoon, he has a couple of dodgy putts and all of a sudden everything goes out the window. Whereas we know that you can only lose it on Thursday. You can't actually win it. Dustin doesn't hit enough fairways for me, especially around this type of golf course. I mean, there's another one I was going to throw in. It's probably over 200 not to 1. Was Brian Harman. But his length scares me.
Do you know, I've backed Brian Harman myself, and again I put him in the write-up for top American, and I put him in the write-up. It was between 3 players for top American: him, Duffner, and Lucas Glover. Yes, his length is a concern. I think if the course was running out a bit further, I'd like Brian Harman because he played so well in the US Open the other year. And that was I think that was the one that Brooks Koepka won. I think it was his first one, and he looks perfect for this course. But maybe we need the course to be a little bit drier and probably just not putting so much emphasis on his lack of length. And but again, he's one for the place markets. And I think there's some firms you can get 250 to 1, 10 places. There's worse bets. I mean, the bookmakers are paying a tenth of the odds. That's 50 to 1 the place. It'll be, if he only gets placed, it's 25 to 1 your money.
No, I like that. So what are your plays?
Yeah, I like it. And I like the market top American because then he doesn't have to win it. Although the problem is we are thinking that Tiger Woods is going to win it, which means he can only get placed in top American market. And he's got Brooks Koepka and Dustin Johnson. So you could do with him being in top European market. Then we would have a bet probably. But he's
get 250 to 1.
He was high on my list when I looked at my notes for the course. Brian Harman was a player that I was looking to back weeks ago, and so you're spot on, Flash. For me, it wouldn't surprise me if he came out of nowhere and won it because, like you said previously in the PGA, there has been the occasional freak winner. Although it's been in August previous year, so in a different stage of the season, you've had Rich Beam, Yang win it. John Daly famously won it, didn't he, when he was his first start as a professional. So, you do see the occasional upset in the PGA Championship, but with the course playing so long this week and so difficult, it's difficult to see, isn't it, without a player with extreme length, really.
So if I had to scale you down for your bets for this week, what would they be?
Right, well, the best value bets, I like Woods. He's drifting now. He's out to 14 and 15 in places. I like Woods. I quite like Bubba Watson. He's been playing under the radar this season. He's been playing more consistent than he ever plays. He's constantly in the gym working out. So he's obviously more dedicated than he's been probably in previous years. So I'm thinking Bubba Watson, and he nearly got in contention on the back 9 at Augusta this last month. I did tip him for that. He nearly got in contention for that. 3 top 20s here. It wouldn't take a lot with his length to be in the mix, and he's the sort of player who can win. If you get him in the mix, he can either shoot 80 or he'll win. And I think the reason is that he wins, he's like Angel Cabrera. He's got that effortless class and that effortless length, and that will be suited to this course, like Augusta, and they'll need it this week. So he's the player I like. I did like Sergio Garcia, and I do like his chances. He's just missed his last 6 cuts in major championships, which is it's kind of difficult to get your head around, really. I mean, Sergio don't even miss that many cuts in any case, let alone his last 6. But that should mean he's due a good performance, and he has played well here before. He has that effortless length and accuracy off the tee, which will be needed. And the other one I thought about was Louis Oosthuizen, the South African. His return, you think he's probably going to end his career with more than one major, more than the one Open. He's often in contention. He's been under the radar all season like Bubba Watson, playing well, hardly finishing out the top 10 or top 20. So, as you know, Flash, it may just be a case of a little tweak with the putting stroke, couple of putts go in, it can make the difference of 6 shots, a putt and a half around, and that can be enough to win the tournament. So I like them, but as a sports fan, I would quite like to see Tiger Woods win as well this week, because it would be something quite special for him to come back. I wasn't one of them people that were jumping on the bandwagon of when he was misbehaving and what have you. I think he'd had the oddest upbringing, being in the limelight from child prodigy from 5. There's a price to pay sooner or later. People come off the rails a little bit, and I think in general he's a marvellous sportsman. I've never seen how, if you play golf like I do, Flash, for the way he dominated golf, will anyone ever be able to do that again? He was just superb down the stretch, and we saw it again at Augusta.
It's because of his success.
Sorry, Flash.
It's because of his success. He's just lifted the bar, and everyone's had to go and reach for it, join it, and try and go by it. I mean, everything that he did, he was the only one doing it. Yes, now, if you're not doing it, then forget it.
Yeah, absolutely. And he has set the bar so high. I still think the players, I must believe that the way he won at Augusta, that was quite reminiscent of how he used to win, where he just played super solid, final round, and the other players just wilted in the end. And, Brooks Koepka and Francesco, they haven't been wilting anywhere, have they? Not been...
No, they haven't. The thing is, right, we've only got 24 hours to wait until it starts. I'm going to add to your bets. I'm going to go for Lucas Glover around 110, maybe bigger in places. I'm definitely doing Lucas Glover top 20 at 4.6. Keimer and Brooks Koepka alongside Tiger Woods. And good luck to us, then, Craig. I'll be surprised if we're sat here
next week and we haven't got plenty of players in the mix with them. I would be very surprised with the length of this course.